But now you guys are gonna tell me, History Legends, you keep criticizing our favorite movies, our favorite video games, why don't you come up with something? But alright, I will give you a scenario that would have been better. Welcome to History Legends, and in this video we're going to do a step-by-step analysis of the mission called Fractured Jaw in the new Call of Duty Black Ops, the Cold War. And if you didn't know, this mission takes place during the Vietnam War. For your information, the mission takes place on January 26, 1968, 4 days before the Major Tet Offensive, the biggest battle during the war and the turning point of the conflict as well.
Welcome to another day in the life of Camp Haskins, a little oasis in the middle of this godforsaken shitstorm.
The base looks nice.
You're pretty safe here.
There's definitely this Vietnam War feel, and we can even hear Vietnam War era music in the background. Alright, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 helicopters.
Hey Sims, you know reading that shit's gonna make you go blind.
Yup. That's why I want it all up here.
Well, you're with Sims. You usually bring out the best in each other. We got a new assignment. FOB4 Ripcord is holding a vital asset. Charlie wants real bad.
Charlie is the Viet Cong, a nickname for them.
Kind you don't ask about. Ripcord has been taking a hell of a beating, so it's our job to secure the asset and get the fuck out. Relax, we got fast
So it's a
wires
stealth
for
operation.
for this mission. It'll be a walk in the park.
So from my understanding, the goal is to take the information and extract as fast as possible.
Headsets on.
All birds check in when ready. Badger 901, good to go. Badger 902, clear to go. Badger 903, rotors
And they're in the typical Vietnam era helicopters with the minigun. Alright. Oh yeah, the Hueys.
Why do I get the feeling you about to give us some bad news? Because you're a smart guy, Sims. The news isn't bad. In fact, it could be very, very good. The asset at Ripcord is going to have to wait a little while. We're breaking off from the Armada, taking a detour. And that's good because a source tipped us off that there may be a heavy hitter in town. A Soviet...
But there doesn't seem to be many soldiers in the helicopters. Maybe 2, 3 soldiers in each Huey. But usually the helicopters would be packed with troops. Perhaps even an entire squad inside one helicopter. And here we see that it's heavily undermanned. Now in my opinion it's because these men are special forces. They want to remain stealthy, and with more helicopters you can spread out and cover a larger area.
Oh, shit. Appreciate the enthusiasm, Sims. If our source is right, we could be looking at an intel gold mine.
approaching the village now.
Alright, let's see.
RPG!
Oof.
Dude, light him up.
Right?
To the bell tower.
Little city. Hold on. Hold on. Where the F are Viet Cong anti-aircraft batteries? Oh my god. So you're telling me that the Viet Cong only has RPGs, but they can't have any type of modern air defense to protect vital information? Now we know the Viet Cong had a lot of anti-aircraft batteries to protect their own supply roads. And it's even mentioned in my veterans book. One pilot said that the Viet Cong and the NVA had elite 37mm anti-aircraft squads that could take down anything flying within seconds. Now, the fact that this is missing in this scene is a bit of a letdown. To make this scene a bit more realistic, you could have had a lot of anti-aircraft batteries firing at the same time, and your first task is to destroy them. But sadly, they resorted to the good old RPGs flying around. Why do you think I'm pointing it out? During the Vietnam War, American helicopter crews saw the highest casualty rates of any unit during the war. You see, these could have been anti-aircraft positions. So this is also weird. Why are they landing directly in the city? Usually special ops would land their troops outside the city, and these men would gather intelligence from their hidden position, not attack the city on their own. And again, in the veterans book that I wrote, there's a Canadian guy that enlisted in the special forces, and he explains how he was trained in Panama and then sent to Vietnam. And his task was not a one-man army type of combat, but in groups of 4, hidden in the mountains to spy on the Viet Cong troop movements and sometimes attack them, but the main goal was to remain stealthy and call in the artillery or aviation to bombard enemy supply lines. But the fact that this mission starts with a guy saying you and me to attack an entire city and get the info seems a bit far-fetched. And the other helicopter is very close to the ground. Quickly, we saw that the other helicopters were already taking fire when they were pretty high in the air. Now, the other helicopter is even closer to the buildings and nothing is firing at it. I mean, any Viet Cong with a rifle can shoot at the pilot at this distance. Low plot armor. He would have been wounded right there. The mission would have probably stopped here. He would have been hit, wounded, extracted, and that's the end. Honestly, this mission could have been any war, anytime. This mission could have been a modern one. You replace a few skins, make it look modern, and that's it. There's no Vietnam War feel. You know, there are little things that you can add to a mission to make it just a tiny bit more realistic. For example, when you shoot, you don't necessarily know how many bullets are in your mag. But if you keep reloading all the time, you're gonna throw your mag that might be half full with bullets and replace it with a new one. But you don't have infinite ammo. Let's say you're out of ammo, but now you pick up an enemy weapon. This should also have consequences because now your allies might think you're an enemy if they hear an AK-47 shooting, for example. You know, just add some crispiness to the game to add more realism to it.
Like looking for a needle in a haystack. You hear that? It's on you, Bell. Open the door.
The guy has no gun, like just charges.
Soviets on site. You sure? Well, I'm staring at 2 bodies that sure as hell don't look Vietnamese to me. Bell, grab that comms log. Let's see who the fuck they've been talking to.
So that's something that's true. In Vietnam, there were a lot of Soviet advisors, and the Soviet Union was the main supplier for the Viet Cong and the NVA during the entire war.
Mission accomplished. We have the intel. Let's bug out.
Good work. Hang on to that intel. We're coming in to pick you up.
All right, let's go rejoin the Armada and get this fucking asset.
So now the fact that the helicopter lands in the city as the city is cleared makes a bit more sense.
Fire. BC, you're breaching the perimeter. What is your status?
We're inbound now, Ripcord. Get that asset ready for transfer.
Roger that, 901. We'll keep the asset safe as long as we can. Ripcord out. Badger 901, in the...
So this is all what I wanted to show you today, but let's wrap up this video. First of all, there's no anti-aircraft batteries on the Viet Cong side, which is the biggest problem. These were literally everywhere and you didn't need a lot of training. They hit them everywhere near the rivers, in the cities, and it made flying around very difficult for the Americans, way more than we actually think. Second, the fact that these two special ops guys cleared the city on their own without even needing the help from the other soldiers in the other helicopters makes no sense. It would have been actually very interesting to have some crispiness to the mission that some other guys you have to save or just coordinate the assault with all the troops together, but not two men against an entire town. But like I told you, special ops during the Vietnam War were more like long-range patrols that had to spy on the enemy. And the Viet Cong were scared of these guys because usually the Viet Cong were the ones setting up ambushes. But in this case, it was Americans setting up ambushes against the Viet Cong by placing mines, sniper fire, mortar fire, just to block their supply lines and scare the enemy away. But like I said, the main role was intelligence gathering in small teams. But now you guys are gonna tell me, History Legends, you keep criticizing our favorite movies, our favorite video games, why don't you come up with something? But alright, I will give you a scenario that would have been better. First of all, the mission could have been done with one helicopter with a 4-man crew that has to land on a hill. Now, that hill is already occupied with another team. You're just going to replace them. Now you're being told that this document is traveling from one place to another in a convoy, and you have to intercept this convoy. You have to go through the jungle, eliminate some enemies on the way, but the big goal of the mission would be to prepare the ambush, destroy the enemy convoy through a battle, and get the document. And then some enemies are following you while you're trying to make your way back to the hill for the helicopter to pick you up. And how do I know this? It's because I talked to Vietnam War veterans and I have their stories in this book. Whether it's the American fighter jet pilot that I talked to you about before, or this Canadian guy that enlisted in the US Special Forces in Vietnam, their stories are detailed inside this book. But as a bonus, I also have stories from NVA, the North Vietnamese soldiers, just to give you a full perspective of the war. The book is called The Great Veterans Project and link is in the bio.